I want more discussion to be around this term post-traumatic growth. So there's not a lot of attention to it. I've talked to many clinicians that don't even know that there is such a thing as post-traumatic growth, which is very unfortunate, because if the only outcome that you understand of a traumatic experience is PTS or PTSD, then how do you lead somebody toward the potential positive outcome of post-traumatic growth? So a couple of things I understand about what trauma is, and I'm not a clinician, but in my layperson's terms, I understand a trauma to occur at an event or a circumstance that fundamentally changes one's values, beliefs, or understanding either about themselves or about the world that they live in. Easy example is, so if you get into a vehicle, or if a person gets into a vehicle and they're traveling to the store with a loved one and they're in a horrific car accident, and unfortunately that loved one passes away, that can be a very traumatic experience. So for that individual who experiences it, up until that point of time in their life, they lived in a world where you could generally get into a car and you could travel around. You didn't have to worry about something horrific happening. From that point forward, they no longer live in a world that is like that. So they've had this one fundamental value, or this belief that they've had, be fundamentally altered. And now they realize that, no, that's not always the case. Sometimes you get into a vehicle and horrific things happen. And I think a lot of the challenge that is experienced with PTS or PTSD is an individual's inability to reconcile. There was this world that I lived in, and now I'm living in a different world. I had one fundamental value or understanding of the world and my place in it that was proven to be incorrect. What other values and understandings that are also incorrect?